So back with another shoulder update. I know I'm changing my setups each time just to kind of see what is most convenient and easy for me to access. I think this is probably the easiest access with my camera right behind my computer, monitor here with some lights. So this is probably the setup that it's going to be, maybe for future podcast episodes, but also for these update videos. The biggest update, as you can tell, I'm not currently wearing my sling. I'm trying to spend an hour or so out of the sling each day, so I build up the muscle factories around that shoulder, so I'm not constantly relying on being stuck in that position here. I'm able to allow gravity to kind of pull it down, and then at the same turn use my right hand to kind of help guide my arm up so I don't feel so stiff throughout the day. Now, I know my PT at first didn't want me to be out of the sling for this long, but I feel like I am in a position now where getting out of the sling is doing better for me as far as building up strength. That bubble in and of itself, as long as I'm not moving around too often, as long as I'm just stationary, that bubble is good for me when I move around. But when I'm sitting down and being in kind of just like this locked in at the computer or making these videos, I feel like sitting down and allowing the arm to hang and doing some slight movement where I'm not picking up anything, it works great. So that being said, I have been a bit more mobile. I've been using my arm a little bit. I can't really lift it up past like here, but been able to bend slightly of the arm, mainly with assistance, but I feel much better over these past few days as I continue to build back and get mobility in that shoulder and bicep area. Now, one of the things that is interesting and frustrating, but also just kind of like a mental battle that I'm having to face is, as you see here in these photos, I am starting to atrophy. I am starting to lose some musculature on that left side of my body. I particularly noticed it when I was working out the other day. Working out just my right arm, whether that being the shoulder exercises or eventually moving to those bicep curls with the cable, I see pretty significantly that my left side of my body is atrophying and losing some muscle mass there. So you can see the left side of the shoulder, that shoulder cap, is deteriorating a little bit. The bicep and tricep in and of itself is pretty small comparatively to that right side. And so those are just some things I'm having to mentally prepare myself to say, hey, I know this is going to be the reality of recovery. It's just interesting now, 3 weeks removed from surgery, I'm already seeing some musculature kind of go away, which is not great mentally, but I understand that this is a reality of coming back from surgery and just things I have to be cognizant of and set this as like, all right, this is now 3 weeks post-op. Where is it going to go from here, and how am I going to build back to normal, to where I was before the surgery itself? So that's one thing that's been super interesting to kind of see and notice. The next thing is I'm noticing that I am becoming more comfortable on the spin bike. I did a zone 2 workout where I spent about 20 minutes to 25 minutes on that bike and spent the majority of that, around 15 to 20 of those minutes, in zone 2, with the heart rate being anywhere between 130 and 140. And so I feel more and more comfortable holding that pace and holding that heart rate. So I feel like that is going to be like a really good challenge for me as I continue to progress and do more of those styles of workouts. I think it's going to benefit me as well as I get back into recovery, get back into doing CrossFit. Zone 2 for longer endurance, never been my forte. I've been a slow twitch muscle fiber kind of a guy for a long time, and so workouts that are under 12 minutes have been my jam. Now that I'm having to be more cardio based, especially in this early stages of recovery, I feel like being in these zone 2 stages for that extended period of time, I would love to progress up to like an hour long piece where I'm just in zone 2 the entire time, controlling that heart rate, controlling that time frame. So that's exciting. Just another update there. One of the cool things that I did last week was get back into shooting photography. So part of my job is I shoot CrossFit competitions and I shoot product photography for brands. And this was a local competition where initially I was asked to shoot and I had to turn it down for various reasons, but the main one being I'm fresh off of surgery. And so I went there anyways and support the local gym, support some of my athletes that I coach at the gym. And so I was able to take some photos of them, and these are some cool ones from that competition. It was a great experience for me to kind of see how I'm able to manipulate the camera, manipulate the lens and the focal lengths to get the angles and the shots that I normally get. Because I do have some shoots coming up, not only for work, but also the CrossFit Open, where I'm wanting to still be active and still be a participant in this community. Not only, again, in shooting content for the Open, but also my job and my livelihood. So this is a great test to see, can I still do this and how can I adapt? And so I felt really good and confident with the camera in my hand. I'll probably add in an extra strap just so I'm not having to hold it just with my right hand. I'm able to put it on a strap and be comfortable, kind of let it hang on my shoulders. So I finally got the explanation of benefits slash the bill from the hospital, the cost of services, and it was very surprising to me. I'm not gonna lie. It was very surprising to see the amount of money that it costs to do a surgery like this. Now, to caveat all of this, again, I do have 7 anchors in my shoulder, 4 in the rotator cuff, 3 in the labrum. I do have a pretty significant reattachment of the bicep into the humerus. I did have to go under anesthesia. I did have to have a nerve block put in. I had an anesthesiologist, obviously, a couple nurses here and there. I was in the hospital from 7:45 in the morning and I left there around 4 p.m. That being said, the total cost of services was $91,197.94. It's a lot of money. A lot of money to repair my shoulder, and much, much more than what I anticipated. Now, with my insurance, they came to an agreement of a $24,000 discount, which means the total cost with my insurance brought it down to $67,121.68, which is still an absurd amount of money. And thank goodness I have insurance. Thank goodness I have a provider who gives me discounts, and I'm able to live in a country and live in a place where I don't have to pay that $67,000 out of pocket, that I essentially pay my deductible, and I'm covered for the year. But that is very surprising to me. I've had a lot of frustrating conversations with my parents about this and about the healthcare system in general, of how insane that number is. And this is how people go into debt. This is how people sometimes don't even go and get surgery when they feel like they need to, because of this amount of the cost of services. The cost to quote unquote be well is so significant, and it's a detriment to a lot of people, because let's just say you're uninsured, you're paying that $97,000 or that $91,000 out of pocket. For a lot of people, that's the cost of a house. And to only be in the hospital for one day, an outpatient surgery, it's absurd. I was there for 8 hours and they didn't offer food to my parents, to myself, and it cost almost $100,000 to get it done. Now add in months of rehab, going to a PT that they're recommended by the hospital. This whole injury would cost me well over $100,000. And it's a sad day, and it's a sad thing to think about for those who don't have good insurance or don't have insurance at all, and they have an injury like this and they want to get back to a state of normalcy, and they can't, and they're crippled by the cost of services to be well and be healthy. And that was just a big shock to me. It was a big surprise that it's just it's a shame that it costs that much to fix your body and to be well. And I'm not going to go into all of those details. I don't think this is kind of the platform for that, but it's unfortunate that the healthcare system consistently overcharging, in my opinion, for services that I feel like should be much less, if not free, especially for healthcare. I'm gonna get off that soapbox, but wanted to make you guys just aware that that is a reality. So when you do have surgery like this, depending on where you are, I guess, but in the state of South Carolina, in Greenville County, a surgery of this magnitude plus the rehab process is going to cost you over $100,000. That's very unfortunate. So the next steps for me on that, I need to have a conversation, obviously, with my insurance provider, but I also need to have a conversation with the hospital itself, because I would love to see an itemized bill of what exactly that $91,000 covers and what exactly they are overcharging for. I've had a lot of friends, I've had children and gone in and out of the hospital system, and they've asked for that itemized bill, and one Tylenol is $9. And so I'm just curious of what exactly they're charging for and how much they're charging for it, and if there is any way that number gets decreased. So moving on to the next steps and what is next up on the plate for my shoulder and for recovery. PT session, I would say the first PT session outside of that just initial conversation is going to be on February 26th. That's 1 week from Monday. And I'm assuming, based on how I feel now, that we're going to be doing some PT, some movement, and some motion back into that shoulder. So then go to my ortho on March 4th just to assess the shoulder itself. And I think last time we talked that we're going to probably deconstruct the sling that I'm currently having and probably either get a new one or see how I need to hold my arm into a sling for the next couple weeks. Moving on from that ortho appointment on the 4th, the rest of the year is probably just going to be recovery. I've had some PT companies reach out and offer sport-specific PT. Now, again, that's not covered in my insurance. And PT with Bon Secours is covered, so I need to decide what I want to do there. But I want to get back to athletics. I want to get back to working out. And so I'll bring my camera along and I'll take some videos of what PT looks like and what exactly I'm doing, what some home workouts are that I'm doing on top of the PT work. Work-wise and what is coming up for me, we have Upper State for wrestling this weekend. So we have 10 wrestlers going to Upper State. So I'll be coaching them, obviously just from the chair. I'll probably bring my camera to take some photos of that. But Upper State is this weekend. The next weekend is the state tournament. We already have one girl going to state, which is awesome. She's a stud. And potentially we have 2 other people going to state. Hopefully they qualify. So that's exciting. Again, it's kind of unfortunate that I'm in a sling at this magnitude for these tournaments, because I would love to participate and be active in coaching them, but learning that this is a process that I'm having to go through, and I still can coach from the sidelines, just wearing my sling and not be hands-on in the wrestling room. But all that to be said, that's the update today. I know it's a bit of a long one, but thank you guys for tuning in. I'm wanting to get out these videos at least once a week and potentially start that podcast on a regular basis, so look out for those as well. But in the meantime, thanks for watching. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.